welcome. So today's video is going to be a little different from my regular content. Yesterday, I reached 10k subscribers, and in celebration of that amazing feat, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I asked my followers to ask me questions, and in this video, I'll be answering all of them. But before I do that, I just want to thank each and every one of my 10,000 subscribers. When I first started YouTube, I never thought my channel would go anywhere. So the fact that I've reached 10k subs and all of my theory videos have thousands of views is amazing. If you've ever watched any of my videos or liked them, or commented on them, or subscribed to my channel, or joined my membership program, thank you, thank you, thank you. You will forever have my gratitude. I also want to announce something special. I'll be starting a Patreon. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but for now, let's get into the questions. Oh, and today the B-roll is going to be Persona 5 because that's another game that I like, and I'm kind of running out of interesting deltarune B-roll, so there you go, it's my channel, okay? We're doing Persona 5 today. Alright, let's start with the questions. Hi there, the Soph. If you had to eat an entire cake, what kind of cake would that cake be? And what kind of cake would it definitely not be? I don't really know that many cake flavors. There's vanilla, chocolate, carrot cake, lemon cake. I would, if I had to eat an entire cake, it would probably be chocolate cake. That's like the only flavor of cake I really like. I guess vanilla maybe too. I'm kind of indifferent to vanilla. And as for carrot cake, it's disgusting. So definitely not carrot cake. And lime cake or lemon cake is also pretty bad. What other types of cake are there? I mean, I guess there's red velvet cake, but that's just chocolate cake. So I guess I would also be okay with eating an entire red velvet cake as well. Hopefully that answered your question. What is your favorite movie, TV show, video game, musician, and YouTuber? Wow, that's like 6 questions in one, but I'll try my best to answer all of them. So as for my favorite movie, I don't really watch that many movies. I'm more of like, I like to watch YouTube videos, like movie-length YouTube videos. There's Star Wars. I like the Star Wars movies a lot. I like the Marvel movies. Probably not a Marvel movie though. They're not exactly the most amazing movies. They're just like kind of my guilty pleasures. Oh, I know. John Wick 2. The John Wick series is one of the best action series I've ever watched in my life. The action is so damn good! And the story is actually not half bad either. Usually, like, action movies have, like, dumb, shitty stories. But the John Wick story is actually pretty good too, so I would definitely say John Wick 2. I feel like that's the strongest movie in the franchise. So there, that's my final answer. My favorite movie is John Wick 2. As for my favorite TV show, that's pretty easy. It's Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is the best TV show to ever come out, period. And there are just so many like memes and funny moments in the show too. It's a great show. I would recommend it to anyone. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, watch it and tell me that it's not the greatest show in the world. Tell me that, because you won't be able to. As for what my favorite video game is, you're probably thinking, oh, well, it has to be like Deltarune or Undertale, right? That's what she made her whole channel about, right? But it's actually not. It's Persona 5. And you're probably thinking, well, Deltarune must be your second favorite game, right? No, it's Persona 4. What about your third favorite game? It's Minecraft. Yeah. But Undertale is my 5th favorite game, and I guess Deltarune is my 6th favorite game. I still prefer Undertale to Deltarune. I think it's just because, Deltarune's story is, incomplete, so it's kind of hard to fully judge the game. But I would say I still prefer Undertale. I found it more funny and entertaining, and just generally more fun than Deltarune. Not that I hate Deltarune. I think it's also a great game. I think it's definitely a close, race, but I prefer Undertale to Deltarune. As for my favorite musician, it's Radiohead. I think they're the best band, period. Well, I think objectively the best band would be like the Beatles, but they're the second best band in history, period, okay? I love all their music. I love their versatility. I recommend Radiohead to anyone. If I had to give advice to people who are trying to get into Radiohead, I would say just listen to OK Computer. I think that's their best album, and then work down from there. Anyway, that's my favorite musician. As for who my favorite YouTuber is, that's gonna be a hard question. I have a lot of favorite YouTubers. I watch 10 hours of YouTube a day. I have a crippling YouTube addiction. So, let me look through my subscriptions and let me decide what is my favorite YouTuber. Half-Bred Chaos is pretty good. I like their videos. I think they're probably my second favorite YouTube channel. I mean, I like how well edited their videos are, and yeah. lots of creative theories, lots of good deep dives. I've definitely like used their videos to research some of my videos. So yeah, I would say they're probably like at least my second favorite YouTuber. As for my favorite YouTuber, it'd probably have to be like Carl Jobs or something. I like watching like speedrun videos, you know, exposing cheaters and things like that, you know, and also explaining how like complex speedruns are done, like the techniques used. I like how he scripts his videos. Yeah, I would definitely have to say he's my favorite YouTube channel. If you're into video games or speedruns or whatever, I would definitely highly recommend his channel. Alright, so that's that question answered. Let's move on to the third question. What is the most interesting mystery in Deltarune for you? That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. I think the most interesting mystery of this game is how will it end? Right, because Toby Fox claims there will only be one ending, and it's like, well, considering how the Snowgrave route went, and there's like so many differences in that route compared to the normal route, like how is he gonna pull off a single ending for that? And he also claims that like he dreamt the ending in his dreams, and that it was apparently so good that he had to create a game with that ending, and I'm just like, ooh, what is the ending? So I would definitely think that's the most interesting mystery of the game, because it's going to be like the longest standing mystery, right? I mean, we're probably going to have to wait like 15 damn years to see the ending of this game. I think Toby Fox is pretty good at like hiding these sorts of things, making sure people don't accidentally predict it. So that will definitely be like the biggest mystery, the most interesting mystery in my opinion. I guess a close second would be like what's in the bunker, right? I think there's just enough information to theorize about it, but not enough information to know for sure, and that's just like the perfect ingredients to a good mystery. So yeah, those are the most interesting mysteries for me. Alright, our next question. After Deltarune finishes, what do you think Toby is gonna do? Is he gonna make yet another RPG? Or is he gonna retire from the gaming community? Or do you think he'll do something else? I think he's probably gonna have to spend a good 10 years on this game, so he's gonna be kind of burnt out after working on a game for 10 straight years. So I imagine he's gonna go into temporary retirement, but you know, I think he'll come back. You see, there's this weird phenomenon. You'll see like entrepreneurs and business owners, they'll sell their business and they'll retire, right? And then like a few years later, they'll come back and they'll start a new business. It's not because they need the money. I mean, they could easily retire. It's because being an entrepreneur is part of their identity, right? It's what gives their life meaning. So they can't just be like a retired person who does nothing. They have to be an entrepreneur. So I think a similar thing is going to happen with Toby Fox. By the time Deltarune is finished, he'll be a game developer for close to 20 years or maybe 15 years, something like that. Being a game developer is ingrained in his identity. I don't think he's going to be able to just stop developing games. So I think he will come back. He might retire for a short amount of time, but then he will come back and create another game, or maybe just like help, like be on, I don't know, the advisory team of another game developer or studio, something like that. I definitely think he'll still keep producing music, right? I imagine he'll produce music for different games and stuff like that. But yeah, I highly doubt he'll just be done with the gaming community. When did you realize you'd love to make Undertale/Deltarune theories as part of your career? Well, when I saw the views on some of these videos, I'm just kidding, that's not why I did it. So, I guess a little backstory about me. I always knew I wanted to be a YouTuber. Like, I think a lot of kids, they dream of being YouTubers, but I didn't know what to make my videos about. And I was watching, I think, a video by Two Left Thumbs. It was about, like, Gaster, I think. Yeah, it was about Gaster. And he had popped up, like, these old tweets from Toby Fox. It was, like, the old tweets showing, like, the first concept art for Papyrus and, like, various aspects of his character, right? It had a censored part of the picture, and I was like, I wonder what he could have been censoring. So I looked really close, and I could see that there were these little pieces of the letters that hadn't been blocked off by the censor bars. And I was like, I wonder, could I use that information? Could I analyze his handwriting and figure out what was said, what was censored, right? So I did that, And I'd also found a Reddit post doing the same thing as me later on. And I realized, there's something here. And in that moment, I knew, I'm gonna make a video about Deltarune and Undertale because I had been, a fan of Undertale since like 2016, right when the game came out, maybe a year after the game came out. So I'm like, duh, I could just make videos about Undertale and Deltarune. So that's kind of my long-winded explanation of why I made videos about this game. I was always a fan of the games, but I didn't get the idea to make theories about it until I watched that 2 Left Thumbs video, and then a theory just came to my head and I knew I have to make videos about this game and theories about this game. So I did make a video on that tweet, that censored tweet. It was my first video ever. Don't watch it, it's terrible. But I did it. I enjoyed making the video. I enjoyed the video making process, and I knew, what, I'm just gonna be a YouTuber. I'm gonna do it. And look how it's turned out for me. I mean, my videos get tens of thousands of views. I have 10K subscribers. So I would say it's going pretty well for me so far. Let's hope for 10K more. Question, let's say far into the future where humanity is hopefully still around long enough to see the final chapter. After making videos on that, what do you think you'd try next? Okay, so I guess this person is asking, once Deltarune is finished, what am I gonna make my channel about? Well, I don't intend to just make Deltarune videos until the game is finished. To me, that would be extremely boring. As my channel becomes more successful, I imagine I'm gonna start branching out into other games, right? When I first made my first video, after I had made my first video, I toyed with the idea of making like FNAF videos. But I chose not to because I didn't understand the lore well enough to really make those videos. I mean, I had played the first 3 games like 8 years ago when I was still a kid. Haven't touched it in years. Haven't played any of the other games. I mean, I still watch the theory videos, right? So I have a decent understanding of the lore. But with how detailed and complicated the lore is, I didn't really want to get into all of that. Like in Sister Location, spoiler alert, when Mike came out and he died, but then he came back to life and he was just a walking corpse and then he turned purple. I was like, wait, so is he the purple guy? What's going on? I just gave up trying to understand the lore of these games. It brain broke me. But I imagine as my channel becomes more successful, I will start doing, FNAF theories and stuff like that. I'll just play all the games and figure out the lore and stuff. And I will start doing theories on that game. And also maybe other games, like I wanted to do a video about Petscop, even though it is an older series, it's been finished for years. I was thinking of doing a deep dive or an iceberg video on Petscop. Maybe I'll do that one day. And I imagine there are other games that could be theorized about, so I definitely don't intend to just make my channel about Deltarune. I do want to branch out into other games, so that way when Deltarune ends, I'm not just like, oh, well, what am I gonna make my videos about now? I put all of my eggs in this one basket, and now that it's done, I don't know what to do with myself. So yeah, to answer your questions, I plan on making videos on FNAF and stuff like that. What's the most insane Deltarune theory you personally believe in? And number 2, do you like cheesecake? Okay, I don't tend to believe in a lot of crazy theories about Deltarune. In fact, I don't really have very strong opinions on any of the theories I make. Some people have even made fun of me for how contradictory my titles are. Oh, I know who the knight is. Papyrus is the knight. Gaster is the knight. Chris is not the knight. You know what I mean? I make all these videos and they're kind of contradictory. It's just because I don't really have any strong beliefs on any of these theories. I think it's too early to really, make any definitive statements. I just make videos to have fun and to play around with ideas. So getting back to your question, I don't really have any strong beliefs in any theories, let alone insane theories. I guess the most insane theory I personally believe in is that Gaster will be the main villain. I think there's a lot of hints to that being true. I mean, clearly he's the first person we talk to when we play the game, which is similar to how Flowey is the first person we talk to at the beginning of the game. He seems kind of evil. He forces us to possess Chris, He just gives off villain vibes. I think he will be the villain for this game. I guess that's the most insane theory I personally believe in. I also tend to believe in the Jaro Jaro J time loop theory. I don't know how well accepted that theory is. I know he's somewhat controversial in the Deltarune community, so I don't know if that's considered an insane theory or not. But yeah, as for if I like cheesecake, yes, I love cheesecake. It's my favorite dessert. I love the chocolate cheesecake. Mwah! It's just delicious. why did you choose to represent yourself with that SpongeBob picture? And I had also gotten a second question similar to that. Why are you Gangsta SpongeBob? Okay, so the reason I had chosen that profile picture is I have like 2 YouTube accounts, one for personal use and one this account that I'm posting on. So I had the personal YouTube account for many years, and it just happened to have the Gangster SpongeBob profile picture. So when I was making this second account, I was just like, whatever, I'll just use the same profile picture. I'm too lazy to think it up. Maybe as I get more popular, I might change it to something Deltarune related. But at this point, I mean, my fans just love this Gangster SpongeBob profile. I get so many comments saying, I'll be so sad if you change it, so I can't change it at this point. Gangster SpongeBob is part of my brand. Now, as for why I originally chose the Gangster SpongeBob profile for my original account, it's just because, I like SpongeBob. It was my favorite cartoon growing up, and I love memes. And just look at this profile. Doesn't it just move you to tears? Look at that charisma, dapperness, that suave. It emanates from the profile picture. It's just a work of art, okay? So that's why I chose that profile picture. And now I can't change it because my fans will be sad. It's the same situation with my channel banner, the Kim Jong-un Live, Laugh, Love. Firstly, live, laugh, love is my life motto, and I just like hearing wisdom from the great ruler. I think it's a funny meme. So now I will continue to keep that banner for the rest of my life. It's an important part of my brand, and I cannot change it. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It is a beautiful banner. Alright, so one of my friends, Andrew, also asked me a question. Let's hear him out. Soph, now that you've reached 10,000 subscribers, what's one Deltarune theory or meme that you think deserves way more love? Bonus points if it's something that would make Rouse proud or confuse. ChatGPT. At least he's honest about it. I think the time loop theory by Jaro Jaro J deserves more love. I know he's not well liked in the community. I think he's overhated, frankly. I know some of his theories are crazy, right? But I prefer a theorist who will stand on business and will take a risk and give a crazy theory, right? Who will put themselves out there and go out on a limb and make a crazy theory than someone who stays super safe and only theorizes about super agreed upon theories. I find that to be boring. So I personally like his theories. I think they're pretty good, even if some of them have flaws in them. I think the time loop theory, despite being very speculative and not having a ton of evidence, does make a little bit of sense because, Rouse somehow knows our names despite us never telling him. If he remembers the time loop stuff, then he would remember what our names are. He also seems to act weirded out when Chris acts out of character, not out of character, but when they do things he doesn't expect them to do, right? Like when Susie goes into Noelle's room and Chris will refuse to, cooperate with what Rouse is doing. I think there are situations where he expects a certain thing to happen and then we do something else and it shocks him. If there's a time loop going on, he could be shocked because we're not, the time loop is veering off track. We're not doing things that was done in the previous time loops. So yeah, I would say that the time loop theory deserved more love. I think it's pretty compelling. Bonus points if it makes Rouse proud. I don't know, would it make Rouse proud? I guess since in this theory he remembers the time loops, maybe it would make him proud that we know what he's going through or something. I don't know, but that is my answer. Do you think that the chapter 3 and 4 secret bosses will become as popular as Spamton? Possibly, possibly not. I have no strong opinions about it. I think it's definitely something he could do. I think there are certain components to these popular characters that Toby Fox creates. It's the same way with Sans, how he became super popular, and, the same with Spamton. They have to have a tragic backstory, they have to be funny, and they have to have a mysterious past that leads to a lot of theorizing and stuff. If those 3 components exist, then you have a super popular Tumblr sexy man that everyone is gonna love. So I definitely think Toby Fox could do something similar to that and get a lot of popularity. But maybe he wants to experiment with another character archetype for the secret bosses. But yeah, I definitely think it's possible. I don't necessarily need another Spamton-like character. I'm perfectly fine with something different, It's good to try new things. So that was basically a non-answer. I have no strong opinions on if the next secret boss will be as popular as Spamton. It could be not. Alright, Sully the Night Lord has this to say. Number 1. What video that you've made are you most proud of? Probably the Sands video. It totally has nothing to do with the fact that it's my most viewed video. I think that the editing and the writing was on point. I like how snappy, I like the pacing of the video, I like the jokes in the video, I like the music choice I made. I just love everything about the video. I think that was my best video, and it is reflected in the view count. A funny story about that video, I discovered that this Russian channel took my video, literally just took it, reposted it, and like translated it into Russian, and it has like 230,000 views on it, so I was pretty pissed off. I was very close to just copyright striking the video because it is just copyright infringement, but I didn't want this person to have my full name because you have to give them your full name to give like the copyright strike. So I ended up just like emailing them and we worked it out. It's still up. You can still find it. I kind of just wanted some money from like the from the AdSense. So I just thought that was funny and kind of sad. And like this guy is diabolical. He literally has like a download link on his channel when all he does is steal other people's content and translate it into Russian. Like that is absolutely devious, diabolical behavior. Alright, so that's the answer to the first question. Let's go to the second question. Say something about editing. I want to have an editing related question, but can't come up with one, so yeah, share some editing stuff, I guess. I guess I'll give some editing tips. I mean, Sully is a pretty good editor, so I don't think I can give him any tips that he doesn't already know, but I'll try my best to give editing tips to, I guess, a beginner. Or my personal philosophy when it comes to editing. So I tend to like over-edit my videos. I think that makes the video more engaging. Like for example, if I want to like pop something on screen, I could just, pop it on screen without anything interesting going on. But that's like kind of boring, so I like to like animate it going into the screen, you know what I mean? Or I like to fade it in going into the screen or making it pop up, I think that makes the editing more engaging. I also like to add transitions to my, like transitioning between clips and stuff like that, adding sound effects that make like the editing pop out more. I definitely think my editing could use lots of work. I have lots of room to grow, but those are kind of like my tips. And also when you're like animating things, I like to add motion blur, I like to add varying speed to my keyframes, stuff like that to make the editing look more realistic, stuff like that. Like to add drop shadows, all the fancy effects to just make the editing pop out more. Number 3, is the Soph TM your first YouTube channel? Yes, it is. I have never made another YouTube channel that I've posted on. I mean, I do have a personal channel that I don't post anything on, but yeah, this is my official first YouTube channel. And it has gone pretty well for me. I would say it's pretty successful. And I'm eternally grateful to all of my followers for getting me to this amazing achievement. Would you stream your playthrough of the following chapters? It'd be so cool. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream it or just like record myself playing it and post it online. I feel like if I recorded myself and just posted it on my YouTube channel, it would probably get more views. Also, like the idea of streaming kind of stresses me out because like someone is just constantly watching everything that I do and say. At least when I'm like recording it by myself, I know that if I say something silly or I make a mistake or I make myself out to be a fool, I can just cut it out. But being on stream, everything is just out in the open. And also, like I just want more creative control of what I post on my channel, so I would probably just record myself playing it. But who knows, maybe I'll end up streaming it, it just depends on what I'm feeling at the time. But thank you for your membership, Valoop. Winggaster the Royal Scientist. Number 1, what inspired you to start making deltarune videos? So 1, as I mentioned before, that 2 Left Funds video really inspired me to start making YouTube videos on Deltarune and Undertale. But another big inspiration I had for my channel was like Game Theory. I know he's not the most well-liked person in the Undertale Deltarune fandom, but personally I like his videos, I like the way that they're edited. Yes, his theories aren't the most fact-based, but I find them to be very entertaining, and I take inspiration from his editing. I think his editing is one of the best on YouTube, and I like to emulate that. That is my dream, to make videos as good as him, at least when it comes to editing. Obviously, the scripting could use some work, but whatever. 2, how do you think Deltarune's story will go and how will it end, given in the chapters we have for now? Well, as I mentioned before, I tend to think that Gaster will be revealed to be the main villain. I think we'll have like a cool Gaster boss fight. I think the time loop theory will be proven to be true, just in my opinion, but that's not all. I think that there's gonna be 2 endings to Deltarune, not 1. I know that Toby Fox said that there's only gonna be 1, but if you read the Steam page on Deltarune, it's like kind of left open-ended if there's gonna be like 1 ending, like it's posed as a question, like, is there gonna be 1 ending? So I think that's a hint that there's gonna be more than 1 ending. And I think the way that it's gonna go is like one of the endings is the time loop continues and the timeline is reset, and the other ending is that we break the time loop and have our happy ending. 3. How did you discover Deltarune and Undertale? So I discovered Deltarune and Undertale from Game Theory. They had posted a video about Gaster, and I just thought that the thumbnail looked kind of creepy, so I was like, oh my god, I gotta watch it and see what this is all about. There wasn't really any major spoilers for Undertale's story, it just kind of talks about like Gaster, who's really not that important to the story. And the impression that I got from the video was that Undertale is like some sort of scary horror game. So I had looked up like a playthrough from like PewDiePie, I think. And I was pleasantly surprised to discover that it's like this goofy, light-hearted game. I got so many chuckles and laughs from the game. I just thought it was like such a charming, cute game with like great writing. And I was like, I have to play this game myself and see all the different endings and all the different possibilities you can do. So I downloaded the game, obsessively played it, got most of the endings. I didn't realize there were 93 endings, I thought there were only like 10, so I'd gotten like, I think the 10 endings that I was aware of. And yeah, I was pretty obsessed with that game for a while. I kind of forgot about it for a little bit, but then Deltarune came out and my obsession started again, and I started obsessively playing Deltarune, trying to see if there were different endings, seeing what people would say if you said different dialogue options to them, you know, the whole 9 yards. Unfortunately, I discovered that the ending was basically the same, no matter what I played, but, you know, I had a lot of fun with it. And then years later, I decided to make my channel about Deltarune and Undertale. So yeah, that's how I discovered Deltarune and Undertale. Prove the Shub-Smale-Tau conjecture true. What is the Shub-Smale-Tau conjecture? I need to Google that. Okay, so according to this paper, the Shub-Smale Tau conjecture is a hypothesis relating to the number of integral roots, a polynomial f in one variable, and the straight line program SLP complexity of f. What is an integral root? Okay, so I think I know what an integral root is. The answer is 24, okay? There, that's my proof. The Shub-Smale-Tau conjecture is true and the answer is 24. When chapters 3 and 4 come out, would you do some sort of recap video on theories you've already covered and see what new details support or disprove them? Oh yeah, definitely. When 3 and 4 come out, I'll probably do like a reaction video reacting to my old theories and seeing how accurate they were. So yeah, I'll definitely do something similar to that. And I expect all of my theories to be proven correct because my videos are perfect and have no flaws, and I'm just so smart and intelligent. Do you hit 16s in blackjack? Of course I do. I think statistically, there's no difference between hitting and standing on 16. I think it depends. I think you have to card count and determine which one is better, but card counting is for losers, okay? I live life on the dangerous side, so I always hit on 16s. Yo, dog, it's me, the dermatologist. I was wondering, what are your opinions on the Chapter 3 Woody theory and crack theories in general? Who the fuck is the dermatologist? Anyway, my opinion on crack theories is that I have no opinions on crack theories because, as I said before, I don't tend to have very strong opinions on theories in general. I just like to have fun and explore new possibilities. I guess in terms of the Woody crack theory, I think the Woody crack theory has a decent amount of evidence to it, despite how crazy it is. The only problem I have with it is it kind of uses the "Friend Inside Me" song as like evidence. And I don't typically like to do that. I don't tend to think that every single shitpost and song Toby Fox comes up with has, like, relevance to Deltarune. Like, I don't know, does the Carpet song have relevance to Deltarune? I don't think so. I think Toby Fox can just create things and not have it be tied to Deltarune. So that's really the only problem I have with it. But I think it's like a decently strong theory. Some other crack theories I think are pretty good is like the Burger Pants is the night theory. and, Icy is a cryptid, or Icy is the night. I think those are pretty fun. I think they have a decent amount of evidence to them, surprisingly. So yeah, those are my opinions on Krek theories. That some of them are pretty decent, but I tend not to have very strong opinions on theories in general because it's too early in the story to really accurately predict the story. Favorite ship that will 100% not be canon but you still like? I don't really like shipping in general. I tend to think it's pretty cringe. Not that there's anything wrong if you like the ship, it's just not for me. Favorite ship, what are the different ships for this game? So I looked it up, and the funniest ship I could find was Birdly X Chris. Honestly, W ship will 100% be canon, so yeah, that's my favorite ship. I love a good enemies to lovers story. So Birdly X Chris is my favorite deltarune ship that will probably not be canon. Although, in the newsletter, we have Birdly asking someone out to the festival, and I think that someone is Chris, so who knows, maybe it will be canon. And lastly, we have a question from Jackalope. This is a long one. A creator I like is doing a Q&A. I guess it's time for me to pull out the good old questions of doom. How many chickens do you think you'd be able to take in a fight all at once? 3. Not your favorite color, but what is the objectively best color? Red, no elaboration needed. Red is objectively the best color, and if you think it's something else, you're just wrong. Who do you think would win? A billion lions or one of each Pokemon? I don't know anything about Pokemon, but they have like superpowers, right? So Pokemon would win. Do you think ants are cool? No, I don't think ants are cool. They're annoying, and they bite you, and they crawl up in your food, and they're just annoying. So no, ants suck. What is your favorite animal? Cats are my favorite animals. I just love little kitties so much. I have 2 kittens myself, and they bring me lots of joy and amusement, so cats are my favorite animal. If you could gain full mind control over one of the main animal types, mammals, birds, invertebrates, reptiles, amphibians, fish, which would you choose? I guess I would choose birds. Because then you could swarm people with birds, and they would be mildly annoying. I could command them to shit all over someone's car. I could command them to eat all their crops and force them into a famine. Yeah, birds are my favorite. Birds are the ones I would want to control. If you had a button that gives you $1.5 million but took a year off your life, would you press the button and how many times? Oh yeah, of course I would press the button. I mean, a year is not really that long. 2 years also isn't that long, and $3 million could really set you up in life. So I would probably press the button twice and just get my 3 mil. It would set me up for life. I could invest it, I could buy property, I'd be able to pay for my college, I'd be able to pay for my siblings' college, I'd be able to pay for my parents' mortgage. Yeah, it would be great. I would definitely press the button twice. What is your solution to the trolley problem? I would just flip the switch and kill 1 person as opposed to 5. I mean, is this really even a moral dilemma? I never really understand why this is a moral dilemma. Would you rather 5 people die or 1 person die? Of course, I would rather just 1 person die. Duh. How many fish tacos do you think you could eat in one sitting? That's so oddly specific. Not tacos, not beef tacos, but fish tacos. Probably 3. I'm not a huge fan of seafood, so I would say 3. And yeah, that's all the questions there are in the comments. I hope you enjoyed my inane ramblings. Now let me talk about my Patreon. I have 3 tiers, a $1 tier, a $2 tier, and a $5 tier. I'm going for a pay-what-you-want model, so all the tiers have the same perks. The perks are ad-free videos, early access, Patreon-only updates, your name in the credits, and Patreon-only videos, mostly Let's Plays. If you feel like supporting the channel, make sure to join my Patreon. It's hard out here in this economy, and Premiere Pro is very expensive, so any donations will help me keep making these videos. Don't feel pressured to donate, only donate if you really want to, and any support is appreciated. Alright, so this is the end of the video. Thank you to my wonderful members, PF247, Silly Willy Billy Silly, Grey Leno, Zilani, Ritalin, Shoshi, Frenchinator, Wolfish Mass, Lucas, Pokio, and Ronan Faria. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye!